Okay, Na'Vi taking on Virtus.Pro. Qualification to the EU RMR live in Romania for the first PGL major in 2024. A big game ahead of us, Vince. A best of three between these two titans, and we're starting it off on Overpass.
Indeed, we are. It's going to be a great best of three. Have a lot of expectations over this one. I'm sure you do as well, Jacky. And of course, two massive names in CS that you'd expect to make the RMRs. So the loser of this will be going down to the 2-1-1 bracket. The winner, as you said, is moving to Romania. Bit with those Julies up close on the monster side. Mia's just waiting out. Does have control of the bomb, smoke and a flash. Meanwhile, not much movement across the rest of the board. Na'Vi have two players in bathrooms, but they're playing more passively than anything else.
Really slow start from either team. Clock almost down to about a minute at this point. Just playing that default, seeing if there's going to be any overextension from the CTs. A little bit of utility used to take some map control towards toilets early on for the CT side. Meanwhile, Bit still just waiting, biting his tongue. He's seen contact, but that's an instant snapshot. Head removed, severed from the rest of the body, and they begin to bombard. Beautiful 2K to open things up as the Glock is causing some real big issues, Vince. 3 frags already. The B-site defense has crumbled.
Oh, that's just beast-worthy. Not a single point of health lost in the process. I believe that is Norbert. It's the one player from the roster that I don't see on the server, so I'm going to assume it's Norbert until someone corrects me. And massive 3K. Mia going to try and pick up the slack. A bit of a whiff there, but IM can't do much in order to try and bring this back underway. They are going to be scampering towards the site, but they've lost so many players, and Fame and Jane will chime together to give VP the first round, but that was all Norbert's doing. 311 ADR, 3 brisk headshots, and he's off to the races.
That was really quite a beautiful pistol round to open it up. The instant shot onto Bit makes a world of difference. And then the pain train just did not stop. Completely overwhelms them, takes control of the bomb site, and gets that pistol round for the T side. So VP going to be happy with that one. You want to start things off with a big upwards draft of momentum on your T side overpass. Even with the newest iteration of the map, it still feels like you want to get the ball rolling as quick as possible. Massive investment into SMGs. Don't usually see the UMP too much anymore, but James has donned one. Mia's got them at 10, and he's looking for the opening picks. A lot of nades thrown out, but not really too much chip damage done from either side. Map control's basically been conceded towards middle. They've just gone for a stack on a B bomb site, but Mer has no reason to push in right now. They've already got up towards top toilets. Once they realize that A's open, they can swan their way in, get that bomb down, and Mer's just going to be looking to farm up the cash with a Mat 10.
Yeah, I'd be really curious to ask Jane why the UMP over the Mac 10s or, MP5s, MP7s we've even seen utilized as Alexi just gets mowed down. But the trade is back and forth. Neil will lose his life as well. Tons of USPs firing at him. Mac 10 now trades hands. A chance for Wonderful to maybe print some cash towards his AWP fund. He's had a very solid stay in Na'Vi after joining in, of course, their primary AWPer. The other side of the coin is James yet to get off the mark with that UMP. Just the one kill from the pistol. It just feels like in the current sort of meta of CS2, if you can even call it that, with it being out for such a short amount of time. But the extra bullets that you get from the Mac 10, the extra fire rate that you get from the Mac 10, on paper at least, just feels like a better weapon than the UMP. But I'm sure James has his reasons. Meanwhile, Bit going in, they're trying to take some players down with the bomb, but it's not going to happen. It's a closeout. And VP get that all-important 2-0 that we expected. Wonderful could afford the glass cannon AWP. But when he knows this SMG's in play, that may just falter that for a few more rounds.
Oh, no, okay. Apparently, the ego's there. The confidence is there for him, Vince. Does go in. Yeah. All right. No Kevlar. All firepower for this man. Let's see what he can get done with a big green gun. It's VP. Already getting themselves a bit of success early on here. Content with 2, but can they find a third? That opening nade, always good to deal a bit of chip damage towards mid on the cross. This time it's just a sliver of HP knocked off of Jane. Only 2 health lost for his troubles. Fame's already pushing up though. Wonderful's playing on the off angle inside of toilets. You've got support toward long from Imma. He'll be holding on the corner. Smoke goes up. Toilet's control taken. Fame, Shadow gives him away. And Wonderful snipes him down.
Yeah, lovely passage of play from Wonderful. That's exactly why he went for the glass cannon. Effectively a bonus round here on the side of VP. They're going to trade up the UMP to the AK-47 from the main man, the brains behind the operation, James. He has been Molotoved out of position. They did hear a tick of damage as well, so they're going to throw the smoke down immediately afterwards to make sure there's no confrontation anytime soon. And if there is, VP will be fighting from a very unorthodox position. HE lined up, that could connect onto Bit, that lands on the roof instead. So a little bit of a mistake from Mia. That was damage. He had the right idea. The trajectory of that grenade would have landed on top of the couple players that were trying to push and have a quick peek through on short side. But with 30 seconds left, VP don't have much choice. They're going to have to push forward. And in doing so, Mia is going to claim the first kill in this engagement. Does a lot of damage to Alexi. Now the pivot round from Norpud is on point. He gets himself an entry. 20 seconds left on the clock. 3v3.
We're in the danger zone right now. Bomb has to be planted. Bit looks to deny. Creeping up, but too late on a reaction. Wide swing from Imma. It amounts to nothing. And Wonderful on the glass cannon. AWP can't afford to overcommit. Needed his teammates to deal a bit more damage on that one. So the retake goes up in a puff of smoke. Forced to fall back and save onto this scoped weapon. VP will be able to clamber their way to 3 rounds to start off the first map in the series. Meanwhile, Wonderful, as if he can even save. Shot down the middle, misses, basically nutmegged. Close angle for James, doesn't clear it. And James can snatch away the AWP if he wants it. Sticking to the rifles, though, as the mobility is what VP are favoring right now.
Now, what will be a bit of a concern, not just yet, but of course, this being the choice of VP's map, you expect them to extend this lead, especially with a poor buy on Na'Vi, but especially when the roles are reversed and VP go on to that CT side. That's where they're going to excel. That's where you're going to see Jane able to play that static level of CS that we know he's so good at with the AWP in his hands. So it feels like Na'Vi are going to have to pick up a fair few rounds on this half if they're not just going to get drowned out exceptionally quickly. That's another one of those factors of MR12 that is showing itself quite a bit. If you have a really bad start into some of these maps, you often don't get a chance to bounce back. It's a little bit too late. So Na'Vi in this next round, when they have rifles, they're going to have to come out with authority and show what they're capable of doing. In terms of this one, it should go the way of VP. Flip finds a stray. Imma deals with him. Wonderful, spots the trajectory of the grenade. He knows he's stuck between many T's right now. And that Molotov's not going to help matters at all either. Gets stuck. Takes loads of damage from that Molotov. I think he got stuck on the bench. That's super unfortunate. In the grand scheme of things, it goes the way we're expecting it. It's going to be 4-0.
Turned the toilets into a sauna. And Wonderful did not have his towel nearby. Couldn't dry himself off in time. Goes down to the smoke. Oh, Norbert as well. Just defending. Easy frags on a fadeaway for the round. So no casualties. VP keeping themselves with all 5 alive. And making good work of the weaponry as well. They've been able to keep these Galils in succession, keep these Mac-10s in succession, not forcing out that many rebuys. And that means that their cash is starting to build, starting to snowball quite a lot on the T side already. Something that Na'Vi just do not have the benefit of saying. They are low on money across the board. It's a full investment. Going to leave everyone broke or with just $50 in their back pockets. So pocket change at best. Wonderful gets his second chance on the AWP now. Once again, reinvesting into it. This time, does have Kevlar, so no aim punch in effect, but it's not going to make it that much easier for him. At the minute, he's the top fragger for Na'Vi. Only 2 kills. It's just been those defensive AWPing picks, but no one's really coming alive. They haven't been able to flex their muscles. It feels like VP at the minute are really quick to the draw, hitting a lot of their shots, and it's being felt. Na'Vi on the CT side, Vince, they've got to come back into it now. Round 5's going to go live. They've got Util to work with as well. Let's see what they can get done here.
100%, mate. This is a super important round if you're Na'Vi. It's going to set this best of 3 instead. And if you are getting clapped back down to a 5-0 and not taking many casualties in the process, VP's money is going to extend. You're already looking at a half where you cannot even possibly be in the lead. A lot of psychological factors start to come into play here. Now, Wonderful did show us with that previous glass cannon orb that he's still very much the threat that you need to deal with if you're on the side of VP. And already some early nade damage inflicted to JL and Bit. Although the smokes are down, VP have a lot of map control. They have Connector. They also have Fame that's up in party, watching onto the long side. VP have done a really good job of making this as claustrophobic and as choke heavy as possible. Although Na'Vi still have some utility at their disposal, it only includes one smoke and one incendiary with 55 seconds left on the clock.
Vintage VP running the clock down, playing the numbers game, and looking for a late bombardment onto the bomb site. Bit. He's been the man tasked with defending Monster multiple times, but he's been very unlucky in terms of the draw. This time, quick bit of communication from VP, and they're going to start to build the play here. It's a bit of a fake towards the A site, hoping that they draw the rotation with the last few seconds on the clock. Will the CTs bite? It seems like they have. One man's already bailed. Alexi B, quick to turn though, realizes that it's a bit of a ruse. Fame on entry, good to abuse with the AK. Takes down two. Alexi B sees the barrel, spams into one, but the snapshot headshot from Fame makes a world of difference, and the bomb is down in a 3-on-2.
With 5 seconds left, successfully planted in. This puts Ema and Wonderful in such an awkward position. No kits between the two of them, no grenades, and they're getting flanked. Flit all the way around the back. That effectively puts it into a 2-on-2 for the time being, though, but they've lost their rifler, and it leaves it all on Wonderful. He wants to get out of dodge, and he may not be afforded that luxury. It could come down to timing. Flit has the right idea. He may have bypassed, though, the wrong angle. Wonderful now coming up. This is such an important moment. If Wonderful can hold on to this AWP, it would give them something to play with in the next round, but it will be nothing at all. Na'Vi 5-0 behind, no save weapons, and the nightmare continues.
They're in a nosedive, Vince. They're in a tailspin on their CT side. Scary stuff here. Both times we've seen Wonderful getting the AWP into play. It's been where he's forced into retakes onto the B bomb site with no one left to support him. And you're basically just throwing a weapon into the wind at that point. Hasn't been able to save it either time as well. Very unlucky on these dying moments of the round. Na'Vi, no cash, can't play it like a rifle round. Got to do something a bit more aggressive. With the investment, you get Alexi B on the MP9. He leads the charge on the push out through Fountain and already begins the flank. Meanwhile, everyone else is playing close angles with the 5-7. Fame, he's got his wits about him. He's watching the rear. Just depends on timing on this. Shadow's going to give him away. Fame's ready for that any day of the week. Imma on the close angle with a 5-7. Maybe there's a chance if they don't clear it fully. But they've realized you've already got the opening. Let's try and roll with this. Going for the bombardment on a B site. They're baiting the peaks from the CTs. Backstab from Imma works well for one. But what more can be done here?
Doesn't feel like there's much that could be done on the side of Na'Vi, especially these last couple of seconds, going all the way to VP. Pushing through the Molotov. I appreciate the aggression. It softened them up for Wonderful. He knows the second player is there. 5-7 rips through two. They were both the weakened players, however. But now going to try and deny the bomb plant. That's not going to be forthcoming. And Wonderful now realizes there are more angles he has to be aware of. He's giving his back up to Monster, though. He's going to be a dead man. Norbert puts him into his grave. And VP off to a 6-0 lead. We're anticipating they'd lose that previous round, Na'Vi. They did a bit of damage, though. But when you look at the bank balance collectively for VP here, Jacky, it is swelling. James going to have to buy the AWP, of course. He's going to be down to around sort of $7,000-ish. But still, everybody is good to buy for 2 or 3 rounds minimum. And that's not even taking into account bomb plants.
Yeah, they are absolutely minted, mate. Their wallets are looking like a sandwich right now because they've got bread and then cheddar in the middle. Absolutely loaded. Whereas for Na'Vi, the money is so fickle. It keeps breaking consistently. Anytime they have to go for these full investments, they're gambling with their lives, basically. And Wonderful, again, getting the AWP. He needs backup, needs some support. That's been the difference. Sure, he hits 1 or 2 nice picks with the weapon, but if no one else is able to find those frags to bail him out, it's leaving him in retake situations because they've been favouring these late round B plays. He's rotating off of A and just isn't in a spot to make those hero plays work. Got close into the previous round, but that's basically just an eco for them with a few bells and whistles thrown in for good measure. VP Wrapping the bomb off, though. Not leaving it further back towards T-Spawn this time. They are going to bring it with them. It's on Mer. And they take long control. No one playing behind a tree or towards the rock, so long will be conceded. It's front toilets that they were worried about. That's where Wonderful's playing with a backup of Imma. But even then, you could backstab on this. It just depends if Alexi B can hold the line when push comes to shove.
Can't imagine the pressure that's going through some of these players' minds. I guess you can always rest easy knowing that you have more opportunities should this map falter. But that's not taking their eyes off this round in particular. Flash into peak is good. Imma gets the first. Minimal health lost in the process, but only 2 HEs remain on the collective belt. Another very slow, lethargic push in from VP with 15 seconds. Norbert's looking for action to try and draw some of those CTs away. He's been successful, but they have to push behind this. 8 seconds, and they decide they're going to save. Flit and Mia hold on to their AK-47 straight up to the AWP as well, meaning that Na'Vi will get their first round with all 5 players stood alive. So finally some success, and that's exactly what they were hoping for.
Okay. So knowing they're not going to get any of the extra cash from just carrying the weapons over, they opt to pick up that AWP for James. Economy-wise, it makes the most sense, so they can give it to him. He'll be rearmed and re-scoped. It's all been about the rifles for VP. They've been playing very, very speedy when it comes to the site takes, but overall, slowing around. They like to run the clock down to the last few seconds. It's classic Virtus.Pro. With James now on the scope, what's going to be the difference? Where will he be looking for those initial picks? This time gravitating down towards B early. Looks like he's just pre-scoped in, watching through monster pipes. If the smoke dissipates, he can try and take the shot. Blocked off though, and begins to wrap. Meanwhile, it's Imma that we should have our eyes on. He's got the playground control on lock. Heard the footsteps as well. Knows there's a player towards middle. That's James setting up for the smoke. Bit of a backstab could be coming over, and Imma's played it perfectly. You get the freebie frag onto the AWPer, smite him down. Smoke will bloom, sure, but you've lost one man in the trade game.
It also gives him a pretty good amount of intel that there's going to be a B-sided stack. You saw the AWP run out by himself. No second player there. No bomb was spotted either. It stands to reason most of the Ts are over on B. However, they don't have connector control. That effectively is the midpoint of this map. Allows you fast rotations on both sides as Flit is trying to hunt down on Imma. Gets it done, finally, from the back, from range. Wonderful misses both of his shots. Uncharacteristic from him. Normally would be nailing one or both, and that is going to apply so much more pressure now onto the side. Alexi gets aggressive, bypassing the molly and the smokes. And it has afforded the luxury of a second player here as well, but there's going to be a swell, a tsunami of Ts pushing onto the site, and they just run through everything. JL, it's a valiant attempt. A nice try from him, but it won't be denying the bomb plant. He has made this weak enough, though, that Bit could foreseeably pull this one off himself. Running around the corner, spray is good, but too many angles. And although they nearly got it done, those 2 missed shots from Wonderful in particular, you go back to and you think, that might have been the moment they lost the round.
Damn. Stone's throw away from actually being able to convert that one. And it's looking a little bit scary as well, Vince. Even when it seems like Na'Vi are able to find themselves in a nice early positioning around, some of the fight back from VP is looking strong. The teeth are on full display. Wonderful. Again on the AWP. Has got the chutzpah to make a difference on this one. Goes for the early peek out. Nothing gained, nothing lost. Nade damage, though, has been through the roof. The utility damage for VP has got to be up there. Nice counter, though. Alexi B on the boost, breaks the smoke towards connector, spams into Flit, and at least gets the opening frag. So this time, they take the first pick. They get that opening duel under the belt. And into round 9, can they keep converting like this? You can play the trades, play a little bit more defensive now. 3-player grouping round towards the A site. Wonderful with a scope being one of them. And then 2 players down on B. Long control being fought for via VP. 2-player set up on a long corner as well. Imma's going to try and play close on the lip. And Fame won't turn a corner just yet. He clears out towards toilets, but the bomb is wrapping back.
Yeah, it is as ever. Connector control has not been an area of the map that Na'Vi have tried to fight for or contend with at all. Not a single round, it feels like. And that could be one of the determining factors to why they've hemorrhaged so many so far. Norbert just walks straight up onto the pillar. And although 2 players now joining him, it's going to be hard to see how VP can barrage their way past so many of M4s staring them down. They've lost one already. The smoke is going to allow them a bit of safe passage. That Molotov is too deep. It doesn't affect the bomb planter. Mia's so lucky, doesn't realize it, walks back in, and his feet get just eviscerated in the process. He is super low. The walking wounded, but Mia then comes out swinging, connects the headshot onto Alexi, and funnels the 2 remaining CTs back on Graffiti. There's no way through for the 2 of them, and they know they have to save. How bitter a pill that is to swallow. Looking for those exits, anticipating that maybe VP get aggressive and try and hunt them down. They have the money to justify going for that one. But man, this is a Na'Vi that are looking toothless right now, Jacky. They don't have that bite. They don't have that snare that we'd expect to spot from a team like this. And when you consider that Wonderful coming into this, you know, talking about the previous 2 games again in terms of stats, coming into this was the 2nd best performing player out of everybody in the closed qualifiers with a 1.61 rating. It goes to show why it's so surprising that you're seeing him miss those shots in bathroom. You're seeing him really struggle with the AWP. And it's not as if he's only had the AWP once or twice. He's had it like 5 or 6 rounds now and has had bare minimum impact.
It's such a shame as well because CT side overpass, Vince, it's one of those maps where as an AWPer, you really do have a lot more freedom. You have a lot more room to take risks, be the difference maker, and really upset the balance of a game by being the instigator, being that person that takes control of mid, takes control of connector. Maybe you're feeling going down towards short, taking a bit of a fight towards B. Whereas with how they've been playing it, with how VP have been conditioning Na'Vi over the course of this game, it is very slow, late round executes onto the B side, constantly dealing maybe upwards of 70 to 100 damage before even seeing a player with visual contact just with an AIDS. Na'Vi are in a position where they have no utility. They're so damaged that you're basically trading blow for blow, where Wonderful has to play a defensive angle on the site because they can't really run the risk of going for anything too aggressive. It looks like the confidence has been sapped. They've been put in a box. This looks better. Body language wise, we're seeing in terms of the positioning that they're trying to play a bit more confidently. Wonderful is pushed down towards tree early on with Imma playing up close towards the fountain. Even if he dies, he'll get first contact and get the info, but he gets away. Grabs the AK, dives around the corner with some acrobatics, and Wonderful's there to trade if things get out of hand. So deep control of middle, now firmly planted in the hands of Na'Vi. Wonderful should be ready for the peak. He is. Snaps down on a headshot. Beautiful. Adds insult to injury. And finally, it's 2 picks in favor of Na'Vi.
Should be 3. Is 3. JL. Finally, they take some initiative, and they get aggressive, and they reap the rewards. The round's not over just yet, though. Mia is still standing with Norbert. They've both had good games, but the 5-7 will prevail. Norbert's going to be checking his angle. JL will be called in this very position. A free execution to add to the 11th kill on the last standing VP player. He was exceptional in the pistol round with a quick-fire 3K, and he's not slowed down since then. He has a lot of time allocated to him, however, so he can try and put down some pain and suffering onto the rest of these Na'Vi players. But it is looking good for a second round for Na'Vi. It could be too little too late, though. And in terms of the win percentages, VP are typically much more successful on the CT side than they are on the T side. But this round maybe isn't done just yet. There is an AWP trained in heaven, but Norbert has read the script. He knows it's a possibility. Gonna go for the plant, bare minimum, forcing these players out into the open. With that smoke, he can retreat back again if he so chooses, which he will. Using the small gap as well. Now, he has a good idea as to where the first player is, but he has no idea that he's currently getting flanked. Ima could have him dead to rights. The timing here is so vitally important, but he's managed to wiggle his way into Graffiti, Jacky. This is a very winnable round now for Norbert.
This is madness, Vince. The fact he's got himself into such a round-winning position and time's so tight. Look what's left on the clock. Strikes on the first as well. Wonderful. Realizes he has no option but to barrel it towards the bomb. The repeat from Norbert is crisp as you like. And that's a 4K, Vince. He started off this game by abusing them on entry with a Glock. Now he goes on to pick up a round off the skin of his own back when it matters most to give them a 9-1 scoreline. VP are on cruise control in this opening game, Vince. They look like they're absolutely blowing Na'Vi out of the water. This is their map pick. They've always felt confident on overpass, but this is a thrashing. Na'Vi, so many times now, it's gone down to 1v2s, 2v2s, and they just can't get it over the finish line.
I think you can tag it and bag it at this point, Jacky. Overpass feels like it is done. I don't like to be that guy, but mentally, in terms of individual performances and protocols, every single metric that you can possibly throw out there, Na'Vi look like they're lost at sea, like they're just drowning. And there's very few moments or kind of bright points that you can really spot and say, right, okay, this is something they can build off to get back into this. The harder side is coming up. They got it done with 5-7s, put it into a 1-3. Norbert still clutches 14 kills to his name, and he's not typically one of the guys you look to for VP to be one of the heavy fraggers. You're looking at Fame or Flit or even Jame to be one of those guys. Mir has his times. Norbert is just trucking along, though, and in doing so, Na'Vi are broken back down again mentally. In terms of their finances, they could squeak out a buy because of max round loss bonus. But we've already... Oh, James. Okay. It shows that VP are human after all. You know, it happens to the best of us.
I'm actually so surprised that he didn't take any damage, though. Fair enough. Fair enough, James. Maybe it was calculated, Vince. He's that big-brained that he wanted to make him think that he had missed the nade and damaged himself just to bring the confidence down a little bit when he actually walks in and is still full HP. Just the real genius of James on display there. Thinks outside of the box, man.
Pure galaxy brain, James. If you ever doubted his intelligence. And I guess from that basis, Flick's like, go on then, have a kill on me so you feel good. And now Norbert's going to pounce in again, isn't he? He's going to break the hearts one more time. And he at least breaks bit. James has the drop on JL, needs this kill. Unfortunately, his foundation was already wiped out from Wonderful, and finally Na'Vi have something to get somewhat excited about. I doubt that the comms are really too hype at this point, the way this game has been going, but at least you didn't get 11-1 in the first half. You have a chance to actually get a 9-3 score, and who knows after the pistol, but you got to still get this round. And considering all the cash that's going to be up against them, it's hard to see that being done. The crazy thing to me as well here, Jacky, is like VP have been dominating. James on 4 kills. It just hasn't been required. Like he's just the ace up the sleeve.
Yeah, hasn't really needed to do too much. He's been a lot more supportive, you know, just playing utility, playing for info, basically, with the AWP. For the first half of the game, it was mostly just AK and Galil that we saw him rocking as well. I only started using the AWP when it was picked up off of someone else. It's one of the few times we've seen him invest his own funds into the weapon. Okay, Na'Vi at least looking a little bit better towards the end of the half with the way that they've been playing it. Their body language was so timid. The map control they take, the way they were playing towards the extremities just weren't there. They weren't pushing for info. They were just playing angles, and it felt really like you were kind of playing into the hands of VP. You were playing CSGO in CS2, Vince. You're just holding and hoping that you'd hit your shots, whereas now they're instigating fights. They're taking information. They're looking to swing upon you, and the angles are changing a little bit as well. They're keeping it somewhat more innovative. That won't work well for Bit, though, bouncing on a trampoline as the white socks slip down, and he gets slain by the barrels. So first pick falls again in favor of VP. 5 versus 4, 40 seconds on the clock. Bomb starting to shuffle its way back round towards Monster Pipe as well. Everyone else setting the flavor that this is going to be a play towards toilets. JL needs to strike. Spams down, hits one as Norbert is taken out of commission. Wonderful also punishes. They're at least bringing it back into an advantage. And Wonderful, quick as you like on the scope, dispatches 2. Okay, 20 seconds left. This has got to be an RV round.
Surely. Yeah, this has to be it. Mia also coming through in the bottleneck of Monster. The flash is good, but they don't really capitalize on it. And now James, just too many players to watch out for. So we said, like, if Na'Vi can maybe wiggle their way into a 9-3, pick up that second pistol, there are avenues and ways back into this. But that's a lot of maybes, ifs, and buts. What we do know for fact is that VP have dominated that first half. And now coming into the CT side, we'll see how much utility, if any, is picked up on both teams. Well, already, Alexi's gone for full helping of utility. 2 flashes, a smoke, and also a Molotov. Ema has a flash to his name. And it looks like, apart from Mia, everyone's full Kevlar. So, see if Na'Vi are going to be setting up for an execute here into a potential hit on either side of the map. They're splitting up to start things off, though. It's not going to be any B-rush shenanigans. Taking connector control and keeping their options open. It's a full stack from VP. This is some mental read if it works out. A full stack of 5 players on the B site instantly right off the bat. And there's the boost coming into fruition. But the problem is they have no one over on A. So now Na'Vi can take a lot of map control.
You got the wrap back around. VP hanging on a knife's edge. Ooh, rotation could work well though for the T's as they're going to play into their hands. Problem is, Norbert barrages down their bullets from the dual Berettas and still takes down Alexi B in his dying moments. And the trade game favouring VP. The battle of attrition is still further in their favour, whereas for Na'Vi, they've only got 3 players left. Spread thin as well. Bit up towards toilets. Wonderful and Imma playing together. On the contact down towards Monster Pipe. James USP from this distance could pack a punch if he peeks out at the right time. And talking of time, we've got 40 seconds left on the clock now. So again, it's going to start to tick away. They're hoping that this has been a bait wrapped down towards the B site from the CTs and that they can make their move for a late A finish. But the CTs haven't overcommitted to this. They're playing 2 to a bomb site, so Bit has to get success on entry. The one trump card could be that Mir's just rotated off though. Push comes to shove, they go for the walk in, 20 seconds left. Will they find the frags? Fame falls, Mir looks to respond, but a bomb is planted.
It is planted 3 on 3. Lack of grenades, other than a flashbang for Flit, and he's sent cartwheeled to his grave. It's all coming apart at the seams now for VP. They had so many opportunities and advantages in this round, but have let them all get squandered, dashed against the rocks, and barring an IGL masterclass clutch from Jame, it's looking like this is going the way of Na'Vi, and that's where the lifeline begins to really take fruition. Beautiful drive-by headshot with the P250, and Na'Vi do secure the 9-4. This is where game becomes, I would say, back on the table here, Jacky, because you expect Na'Vi to take this round very convincingly. 9-5 is going to be the score. Rifles will come out. They have a chance now. It was looking so dire for them with that Norbert 1v4 clutch, with all the things that went against them in the first half, but they're still in this.
Oh yeah, it looked bleak, man. It really did look bleak. But you're right, taking that pistol, Vince, MR12, the way that you can spread your wings and fly so much quicker than you used to be able to in the old format, ooh, it means that maybe there is still a chance for Na'Vi. But the one upsetting factor is just don't lose to the pistols. Don't throw it all away. 3-player setup inside a connector. The nade's going to ruin them. That's a meaty one. Tons of damage done. Makes it easier to farm up the cash on a Mat 10, but it's only 1 pick for the Mac Daddy of Alexi B. And that gets dropped back. High HP on Norbert. He's got about 70 to play with. He'll grab the weapon and scurry off, already committing to a rotate wrap round towards B. And the B side is where the real play's coming. Flit with a taser. Wanted to do something shocking, Vince, but it's not going to work out. He goes down.
Oh, the timing was so unfortunate. I think he'd be super disappointed he didn't wait an extra second or two, because that could have really put him into the mix. As it stands though, Jame, looking at that P250, sneaky backstab. Not going to be happening. Na'Vi will move to a 5. Can treat this as a mini tactical timeout here, VP, and figure out what they're going to do next round. They will have a buy allocated to them. It's going to be without quite a few of the trimmings, though, that they'd like. Unless Jane can maybe print some cash with that Mac 10. It's not looking good, though. I mean, they're even in a position here, Jacky, where I think it's justifiable going through into this next round, if they so choose. And we know that VP can often, err on the side of caution as opposed to aggression. But maybe save again. Make sure that you do get that AWP in the hands of Jame, that you do get a really, really solid buy with full utility. You have time. You have a buffer of rounds. You don't necessarily have to throw it all in on this next one. So I'm very curious to see what Jame and co are going to do as he goes down with the bomb. You can see no one could afford the AWP other than Fame, and it's very unlikely he's going to drop that for a glass cannon kind of situation. So, but they are going to go for it. Fair play. VP do go all in. They're going to have M4s, no AWPs, lack of utility in a few players, no kits, but they're deciding this is the round they want to fight, they want to buy into, and come straight back onto their CT side with.
Okay, scopeless. All about the rambunctious rifles then. 9-5. The game's getting kind of close, giving us a lot more stock in the series. Remember as well, this is VP's map pick. They came out swinging. They looked like they were going to make quick work of Na'Vi. Following this, we have Anubis. That's going to be the home turf of Na'Vi. And if we make it there, it's an Inferno decider. The classic bookend waiting in the wings for this one. We'll keep our eyes on the present for now, though. Round 15. Minute and 20 left on the clock. Early nade rolls out. Okay, Norbert should have got contact off the audio cue. The gooshing noise from JL. JL's going to peek into him. Quick on the draw for the first. The AK pulls up to the party. Silences one. Flit looking lost, Vince. Oh, it was like a child in Asda. He didn't know what was going on, just begging for someone to find him.
Well, maybe the big brother's going to arrive now in the form of Fame. He's taking a lot of damage, though, and his teammates falling around him. And now James, stuck in heaven, is going to probably have to save realistically. Ooh, this is where things start to get a little bit scary for your VP. After a commanding lead into a potential eco, Na'Vi off to the races with 6, likely 7. And some of those big hitters, some of those players that were slumbering in the first half are beginning to wake up. The likes of Wonderful. JL's having a few good rounds as well. The one dampener is maybe that Bit hasn't really got out of first gear just yet, but that in itself is a potential banana peel because eventually he will show up. And when he does, things are not going to get any easier. James may have picked up the first. He may die to the bomb, and if not, it's going to be Alexi. Some IGL and IGL crime, and it's the Finn that comes out ahead this time. Na'Vi close the gap to 3.
Mate, it's so hilarious how, for years it was always the T side of Overpass that was just this like absolute nightmare hellscape of rough rounds to pull off, rough halves to play. Whereas into this one, throw that all out the window. Both of these teams have spectacular AWPers, but they haven't been able to flex their muscles at all on the CT side. It's all been about the MAC-10s, the AKs on the T side. They've been setting the pace of the game. And VP as well, caught sleeping at the wheel in some of those situations there. Felt a bit weird from how they played it on the defense towards B. Now they opt to go for the upgraded pistols. Few 5.7s. JM on the CZ, he's a CZ enjoyer. We've seen a few of them over the open qualifier and now into closed as well. Full armor though, everyone's got the kits on their vests. They've thrown the Kevlar on. So they're at least ready for a bit of a scrap into this one. Slow round though from Na'Vi. Smart stuff, right? Play it like a bit of a default. Set up, see if you can take map control. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Run into a close angle, get clotheslined by the pistols. They've got control towards toilets early on. They drop the bomb and look like they actually want to try and bleed their way up long here. It means they could clear out toilets from either side, get the full read that no one's there. Then you'll have time to decide where you actually want to take this.
Yeah, that seems to be the idea here, doesn't it? Na'Vi take systematic control, methodical control over the map. And then have the time in which to allocate. Which side do we want to push on to? It's a heavy stack on A. Not that Na'Vi realized this just yet, but the fact that no one's been in bathrooms, no one's been in con, could give them a bit of a read into the situation. Now the smoke's going to begin to blot out the sun over on the A side of the map, and VP's eyes will start to get that little bit wider as they realize they're going to see action. They're going to see the T's come in against them on a stacked site, but Alexi is going to open up his account. Beautiful double spray from Bit. He's awakening. Oh, it was looking like there could potentially walk headfirst into the firing squad, but instead, it's Na'Vi that get all the kills. VP didn't get a single frag out of that one. Finally, James has his hands on an AWP, but can he do anything with it, Jacky? Because if not, Na'Vi are on the fast track to equalizing this, and all that momentum, all of that speed is in their favor at this stage of the game.
It's wild how much the control of this game exchanged hands and just how different it looks going into the second half. VP really struggling now, feeling like they're choking away what was such a luscious lead for them. It's scary. Wow, perfect timing as well, dissipating that Molotov that comes in. Meanwhile, Alexi B, he's playing entry. He's the IGL, but right now he's the brawn of the situation, throwing out left and right hooks. Stereo frags for him. Back up from JL. Ooh, bit of team damage. Bloodlust there coming out. Zimmer blows away Alexi B, but it won't matter, as that was more a celebration, Vince, a firework at the end of the round, because the round is over. Na'Vi have already laid claim to an 8th and will walk away with their heads held high here on a 17th. All VP can do is save.
That's all they will do. I'm hoping that will be a successful save. There's loads of cash for Na'Vi, and they know what VP are like. It is a bit of a meme. It's an understandable decision from James, though. Pretty much every time he decides to save, you get exactly why. But this is where reputation may very well precede him. So Na'Vi going to be instantly just pushing out, even if they lose 2 or 3 players. If they can take this AWP away, that would be worth its weight in gold for them going through into the next rounds. They're not going to find anything just yet, though. And so VP now, at one point, we're 9-3 in the lead. At one point, I think it was like 8-1. And yet here we sit, 9-8, money broken again, VP in all sorts of trouble. And Na'Vi just in cruise control. Bit still hasn't fully come alive as well. Alexi's been fragging out. Not typically a player that you look at and think of as a heavy fragger. Maybe in bygone years, maybe back in Ence's days, but not in this Na'Vi roster. But he is pulling his sleeves up, and he's going to work.
Absolutely giving it, mate. Real big change of pace on this one. And it's crazy as well with how big of a lead this was. It felt like it was almost impossible. We thought the game was potentially cooked. Rome wasn't built in a day, but any labour helps, and it seems like they've been putting in the hard graft to bring this one back. Now only a stone's throw away. 1 round of difference. James, though, he's going to be tested. Is he handy with his steel? Can he earn his keep on this round? Luckily, the timing works well. He turns around and backs off, playing defensive towards the bomb site, whilst everyone else from Na'Vi begins to bubble for a bit of a take here towards mid. See if they can take that control of toilets with just a single lurk of JL waiting down towards short pipe.
I'm just amazed that James was in connector, managed to walk back out connector again with multiple Na'Vi players encircling him. No one even saw him. This guy is a real-life ninja. There's no doubting it at this point. 40 seconds left on the clock. And Na'Vi haven't given their intentions away to their opposition. VP playing more of a deep passive defense. They still have quite a bit of utility. A smoke and an incendiary, tons of HEs and flashes, and this time they do have kits. So they're going to be sitting back and waiting to see what happens here and be reactive. Flash over. Being smoked out of position is James. Fame needs to come alive. Needs to get some impact. That kill actually helps him tremendously. He can now focus his attention. They're not going to expect someone on long because he wasn't spotted just beforehand. And that will get the drop on 1. Is it going to get enough though? With Flit and James going to work, more than likely it will. And Alexi already ran out of bullets. Had to switch to his sidearm. It will not pass for VP. Their first round in 5. And that is just what the doctor ordered for Virtus.Pro. Now, V back to the drawing board, but they have tons of cash in which to paint a beautiful picture on that canvas, should they choose. But game is getting very interesting, Jacky. I was worried that VP was just going to get barreled over in this half, and it was going to be like one of the most one-sided T-side overpasses you've ever seen. I'm glad that they're at least standing tall, digging their heels in, and refuse to go down without a fight.
I'm right there with you, man. It's such a shame for how dominant the first half was for it to feel like it had all gone up in a puff of smoke. And they need this as well. This is their map pick. That's the important sentiment, right? Going into the second map, that's going to be Anubis. That's where Na'Vi should be at their best. So if they're able to get an upset comeback after this long of a game, oh man, the energy would be absolutely outrageous onto the second map. So VP, it really is in their court now to deny that. Give themselves a hot prospect of a second map in this series. Could be anyone's game, though. It's been close. It's been a massive comeback between either two teams, and everyone is looking a lot better. The frag's definitely changing. Even the cat's getting excited about this one.
Understandable.
It's just one of those games, Vince. Everyone's amped up for it.
Who wouldn't be? 2 household names in CS, a spot in the RMRs up for debate in this 2-0 matchup. A best of 3 with Anubis coming up next and Inferno if we need it. What a classic that would be. Inferno decide a map between these two, but there's a lot of CS between then and now. Jane, feet getting tickled from that Molotov, but can hold position. Another sub 30-second execute from Na'Vi. This time, though, getting success on the B site, which was the way more weaker of the two. And with a smoke up into heaven, that should afford them the luxury of a post plant. It's going to cost Alexi quite a bit of his health. But he's not going to care too much about that because Bit's gone in and alleviated the pressure and now can hold angles. VP may find themselves into another save situation here with no grenades left allocated between the 3 and all 3 of them clumped up in graffiti. Ideally, you'd like to have someone rotating around the back of the sort of connector position or the T-spawn going into monster. That's not the case. So they have boosted up Bit into heaven. And in doing so, he could get the drop on some of these players. He could just outtime this. This would be a complete catastrophe, a calamity, if Bit can get more than 1 kill here. And it's gone from bad to worse. Bit last man standing, no survivors. VP with 1 step forward and multiple backwards. Are right back into the oven once more.
Oh, mate. Oh, Vince, it's painful. It's painful. Fully baned at this point. Back broken, no survivors, nothing to work with for them. 1 round of difference between the two. Ooh, VP, money's going to be in the bin. Gotta get back into the groove of things. Gotta pick this round up and make a world of difference right here, right now. We go back into it. Round 20, the game that won't stop giving. Na'Vi on a knife's edge. Can they equalize? Take it 10-10 a pop and potentially set themselves up to win this one? We'll definitely find out over the course of this 20th round. Early smoke down. Norbert this time as well with a UMP. A lot of UMP-centric players on VP, it seems. Maybe they know something we don't, Vince. It's one of the few times I really see the weapon pulled out too much anymore.
Yeah, clearly, there's something in the water over on VP side. But they are believers. They want to bring back that UMP meta. I remember where it was seen everywhere. Back in the glory days of the other Virtus.Pro lineup, the Polish one that used to love playing Cash, saw a lot of UMP play over on that side. But in the here and now, a very different roster, a very different task ahead of them. Yes, if you're just joining us, it is 10-9 VP. Do have the advantage in terms of the rounds, but if you missed the last sort of 20 minutes of gameplay, it has been all Na'Vi. They have been dominant on their T side. Absolutely unrelenting. 1 round out of multiple. And a wonderful setting up for the execute. Smoke down onto Bank. Fame will be mollied out of position into the embracing arms of Bit. Did a lot of damage, though, to be fair to Fame. Had no right to get that much done with the inferior weaponry. And now Mir on the approach should be taking down that kill into the AWPer. How has he missed that chance? It was a dead to right opportunity, and he's completely scuffed it. And in doing so, Na'Vi may be about to snatch this round away again.
Oh my, Vince. They had the defense right there. It was in the palm of their hands. All they had to do was close fist. Instead, they've got to close this round. It's over. They know they can't mount the retake. They know it's not worth throwing all the weapons away because the key point we mentioned at the start of this round, they don't have the money. The economic game is in the bin. There's no paper for them, no Skrilla in the bank accounts. So it's going to go 10-10. Na'Vi playing VP's own game against them with a 10-second plant towards the end will pick up the 10th round, equalize the score, and Alexi B's even on the hunt, supported by JL. The difference is, sure, you find both of the picks onto the T's, but they can afford to die. Na'Vi have money. They can reinvest. They can sit pretty until the end of the half. Everyone's on about 10 to 12k across the board. They're looking pretty bloody good right now, whereas VP do not have that luxury. The money's rough. It's not that healthy for them. So they had to clutch onto those weapons to even bring themselves a buy. They call in a tactical timeout to figure out how exactly they even muster that and what weapons they choose to divvy up between them. 10 rounds apiece, Vince. Oh, this could either be overtime or match point for one of these two teams in the space of the next 4 rounds. That's what remains here. A game that was so one-sided, so heavily Virtus.Pro, has only resulted in them picking up a single round over the course of the second half. They had 8 at the end of the first half, 9 rather. Now they've finally got themselves to 10, but they just can't get over that hump.
They can't. They have the mental block. Maybe that's for the timeout to decide and a remedy for this curse that has fell upon them. I was just looking through some of the stats as well, by the way, of overpass. This is a choice of Virtus.Pro. And I was discussing before how it's not going to get any easier for Na'Vi. I at least thought not. When they're on the T side, 79.5% round win percentage after getting the first kill. That certainly has not lived up to what we've seen so far. VP have got a couple of hit and runs multiple times. But more importantly, they typically have a 63.7% CT round win percent. This is their stronger half by quite a considerable margin, and yet they're still getting this hammered. To put that in perspective, 13 wins, 2 losses over the last 3 months, with wins against the likes of Spirit, OG, Fnatic, NiP, Heroic, Astralis. It's like, this is one of their best maps, Jacky. On paper, statistically, one of their best maps. And Na'Vi are making them look like very ordinary team at best. That's probably being polite, to be fair, on how they've looked on this CT side.
It's wild, isn't it? It's wild how close it's been now. And how much it feels like the playing field has leveled out. At first, it was quite worrying, quite one-sided. Felt like really the sheer style and talent that we know to expect from Na'Vi just wasn't there. The roster looked pretty rigid and they were crumbling in a lot of situations where we needed to see more. There was no one stepping up to the plate to help out Wonderful in rounds where he would find 1 or 2 opening frags. And overall, I mean, they just weren't hitting the shots at all. That was the key statement on the CT side. Now, on the T half, it's been vastly different. The speed of the game's been in their control, the understanding of being able to play fast and slow CS as well. And this is a perfect round to describe that. 20 seconds on the clock as finally they go for the bite and they're able to get entries. 2 frags back though for the CT side, leaving it down to a 3v2. Mer has to stand his ground. Wonderful on the scope. Bites down with the AWP, claps his way through Mer, and it's all on Norbert. He's been good for clutches today. Low HP though, and it won't be a 1v2 for VP. It will instead be an 11th round given up to Na'Vi. They've taken the lead, Vince, for the first time over the course of the entire game.
Exactly. And when it really counts, they have been chasing. They have been gradually working their way back into this brick by brick, step by step, up a vast mountain of VP rounds. But they're now in the ascendancy, and it's hard to see how VP are going to battle back from this position. Even for stacking sites, even being in positions where they have the advantage in terms of crossfires, they are still getting out-aimed and out-dueled at every single turn. And with the exception of Norbert and maybe Fame to a certain degree, we have not seen VP anywhere close to their A game. I don't even think to their B or C game and how they've been performing so far. And the problem is, when you go across to Anubis, you feel like Na'Vi are the favourites to take that one as well. However, we're not done just yet. They can still turn the screws and get back into this, but their even trade back and forth is not going to be ideal for Na'Vi because they took a ton of damage on JL.
4 versus 4, but the difference in health, it's something you can't overlook. JL is so low. He's got 2 letters in his name and 2 HP to his name at this point. Does find the AWP though. Bogdan's Law could come into effect, at least having that weapon. 1-shot potential. Might give him a little bit of edge. I thought maybe with the body language they were debating going for the boost towards the back of the bin bags that you can now pull out. But no call for it. Instead, it's Fame that's pushing up for Toilet's control. And ideally, a late B finish here for Na'Vi. They're starting to rev their engines, but they're blocked off. The Molotov, meaning that they can't run through the fire and the flames to get into the bomb site. They do finally commit to it, but it's easy pickings for the CTs. JL does not want to throw that AWP away for free, so he cascades further back, waits to see if maybe Bit can get some fadeaway shots, but he's backstabbed in his own right, as Fame will remove him from the equation. And with 4 seconds left, it's all about survival for JL. Has to stay scoped, doesn't want to give up the audio cue. Oh, fires out the shot, but it was just a warning. He goes down. Na'Vi tied up now, 11 rounds a pop as VP claim a very important one. Okay, this has put us in a bit of a predicament then. If one team takes both rounds, they will win in regulation. If they trade rounds at the end of the game, we will be going into an overtime. All the rounds could be played at this point. There is money for Na'Vi. They rebuy back into it. AWP for either team. Jame and Wonderful donning the weapons.
Oh, wouldn't this just be classic VP? You let a vast amount of rounds dissipate, but then come alive when it really counts at the end. Could you imagine how destructive and devastating it would be for Na'Vi if they ended up losing this 13-11? VP could still win from this point. Sure, it could go OT, it could go either way. As even and as a razor's edge as possible. Maybe VP are about to pick up the pace here. They do have Jame. Aggressive position to kick things off on long, but it's not been his best game, I think it's safe to say here, Jacky. I kind of expected a little bit more from him. 7 kills, had no real impact in the first half, but he wasn't required. He absolutely has been required on the CT side, though, and it's had bare minimum impact. I think he came through into the second half on 4 kills, so he's only had 3 in all of these rounds, but this would be a time for him to set things alight and show us why he is still one of the best AWPers, especially in static positions in the game. He's going to be getting aggressive, trying to bypass that smoke, maybe to try and alleviate some of the pressure that Fame is going to be feeling in a few moments' time on that player. The linchpin position in bathrooms gets one, may not be good enough though as the flood of grenades come in and James needs to stand tall.
Or is he going to be washed away by the tides? He's burning, Vince! Not brightly, not turning up the heat in the way that you'd want him to, as instead he's taken down. But talking of which, that's a huge response. Flit bombards onto Wonderful. That was the bomb planter. Oh, Vince, they've only got 10 seconds left to make a play out of this. JL has to focus on bomb recovery and getting it planted. The Molotov denies the map control. Imma replies with a headshot, but 4 seconds left on the timer. All they've got to do is run away. Norbert just has to stay alive. The round cannot be won. And Na'Vi, their hopes and dreams go up in a puff of smoke, just like James did, as VP make it to 12 first. And now we're at the precipice of VP Eva finding success on their map pick and going through onto Anubis with the first map under their belt, or an overtime comeback for Na'Vi. But it has to be done with a broken buy. Couple Deagles, 1 AK, 2 Galils, and a full set of utility across the board. Can Na'Vi make this comeback work and draw it into OT?
That is the million-dollar question right now, and VP getting aggressive into this round. It's James again with the AWP interconnector, but he is going to be backing away. He has such a good read of the timing, of understanding roughly how long it takes the T side to systematically push onto party, so he's going to vacate the premises very early on. The flash! Oh, I thought Ema was going to get wrecked off James, but his woes continue. He's had a really rough game so far. That's put all the pressure on his teammates. Fame goes out. The timing's good, but Ema still gets him. Must have a guardian angel looking over his shoulders right now. How is he still alive in this round?
Oh, mate, put a H before Ima's name, because he's him right now, Vince. Big plays being made with the AK as he slays his way through them. Keeps going. He's good for a hat trick into the 24th. Oh my God, Na'Vi have put this game in the back pocket and are looking at overtime. Norbert. Yeah, he's had some clutches, but surely this one is too much of a tall task. Smoked out at a bomb site, trapped towards bank, and Wonderful lays claim to the 12th round. They force it into overtime. Oh, Vince, for what this was in the first half, for Na'Vi barely limping through with a couple rounds, for VP to struggle so much into the second, and for it to now make it all the way to an OT for our first map of this best of three. A qualification best of three, nevertheless. A game that will result in you making it to the RMRs, being a few games away from having stickers in the game at the first CS2 major, goes down to OT for the first map.
CT rounds, only 6 have been picked up in regulation over the 24 that were played. Worth their weight in gold here. Both teams have been far superior on their T side. We have seen some fantastic clinical usage of grenades from Na'Vi on the approach, especially on these A-side hits. So many times the Molotovs have done most of the work for them, whether it be Jane burning alive in that previous round, like 3 mollies landing on top of the backside of the site. But Na'Vi need to keep this pressure applied. We saw glimpses of a second wind from VP in the dying embers of that half, and it looked like they were dead and buried at 11-10. They cannot afford to take anything for granted, as JL is going to go walking slowly through into the smoke. Once that clears, there's going to be a flashbang behind it. Doesn't affect Norbert, but it seems that magic has gone from him. It's disappeared. He was such a man-mountain, a beast. He's had a really good map, but when it's really counting at the end here, some players are going absent. Another double molly setup is keeping the CTs isolated from their brethren on the side, and they're just picking them off one by one. This is some sublime usage of Molotovs from Na'Vi once again, and nobody is retorting. No one's retaliating. It's like VP have disappeared once again in the smoke, and they have to dart back and save one more time with Fame on his M4. Na'Vi take the first blood in OT, and they're looking so good on this T side once more.
It's the manner in which they do it as well, right? The fact that's basically the team ace, with each player being able to find a pivotal pickup. 6 shots as well. They were so crisp on entry. And the utility usage makes a world of difference. Forcing VP off their angles, forcing them into uncomfortable positions by dealing so much chip damage before they even see each other, and give an opportunity for Virtus.Pro to pick up a frag in a raw gunfight. Wow. Okay, that was crisp. That was drilled. Complete change of pace as well. Over that entire half, it's been slow. 30, 20-second sight takes from Na'Vi. Then all of a sudden they go, you know what? You've got used to 12 rounds of us playing slow. Let's hit them hard. Let's hit them fast. And it makes a difference. It keeps VP guessing because now in the back of your minds, you've got those seeds of doubt. You don't know how they're going to play, and you have to adapt your play style to be able to accommodate it. Na'Vi back towards B early on almost here. It looked like they were going to go for maybe something similar. Instead, the bomb is dropped. They're going to leave that behind. It will get picked up by Alexi B. He'll put it on his person. Boost up for Jame. No contact through short pipe early. Ooh, Fame does find first contact, but it doesn't work well. Bit again gives the opener. JL, smoke barely blocking him there. Didn't see the jump across from Mer, who inflicts a lot of damage onto Wonderful. At least it's the AWPer that takes the brunt of the damage.
Yeah, that's true. But the problem is on the T side, the AWPer's still going to have to be mobile. So although it could be worse, we're getting into that kind of territory now where Jame really needs to step up in this OT. Like, it's not acceptable for him to be posting up like 30 ADR, having tons of AWPs and not really having any impact whatsoever for his teammates. Flip, though, gets the better of Alexi, who was flashed, went for the wild spray, didn't work out for him. Mia treading on the Molotov, has to come back out into the open, and in the last few moments, it's been all Na'Vi. Suddenly, from an advantage of VP, it falls against them. The Molotov, I don't think that's going to spread and deny the bomb plant, so Wonderful's going to be fine to just place that one straight down. And with smokes in the eyes of the CTs, Jame and Norbert, now Norbert by himself, is going to go down without much of a fight, and Jame is still in connector. He's nowhere close to his teammates. It begs the question why Norbert is going in so aggressively if there was no secondary component to that push. But now James' position is known. It's the USP versus an AK-47. It should be a done deal, and it will. Emo will not miss that chance, and Na'Vi will not miss the 14-12 lead. VP's economy in the toilet once again, as they'll be forcing through a buy. They're going to be down to a FAMAS and a distinct lack of utility. Oh, man, what a capitulation this is from Virtus.Pro, Jacky. I can't remember the last time I saw Jane have such little impact in a game.
It's wild, mate. And it's not as if he's not had an opportunity to. You know, the game's been going on for quite some time now, and he's had the AWP countless times, again and again and again, whenever he wants it, and it's just not worked for him. Hasn't been able to command respect, hasn't been able to flex his muscles at all, and in situations where you need him to step up, he's not been present. This is not the Jame that we usually see. Something's gone wrong here. And for VP, you've got to adapt. You've got to straighten up and fly right now, because you just don't have the rounds. You don't have the buffer to give any more to Na'Vi, to let them take any more of a lead than they've already found. The bombardment of nades goes into the back of B. Luckily, Flip was out of position, so it won't ruin him. Ooh, but the follow-up certainly will. 50 HP wiped off him. The T side getting ready to again attack towards the B side, Vince. They felt confident on these B plays. They've done a good job of forcing VP out of comfortable angles. And if they go for it here, I wouldn't be surprised if they're able to do the same again. How are they so good with the nades right now?
Yeah, honestly, I've been so impressed. The aim's been good, but I've been more impressed with the utility that Na'Vi have been showing. This is like harkening back to the good old Astralis days, with how on point and precise and surgical they were with mollies and HEs and blotting out key components of certain maps. It looks like they've really been doing their homework here. Whether it's Alexi, whether it's the coach, I'm not sure, but very impressive usage of grenades. And now Bit's going to be slowly walking his way up on short. They may have missed the timing. He whiffs his spray, gets punished. It's actually a team kill. But there's Mia on the drive-by with his own MP9. Flip was Molotov'd off, but another one trade by Mia, who's waking up. And they desperately needed someone to build off. Anybody to build off in the remainder of this first half of OT. And it seems like Mia was the man for the job. Whether it's going to be good enough is still yet to be seen. Keep in mind, if you just joined us, only 6 rounds in regulation on CT side for both teams collectively means 1 round in OT. Hey, Jacky, it may be good enough because we know both teams were really struggling on their CT side.
Goddamn. It's such a game of fine margins, Vince. It's kind of crazy the way this one has panned out. I really just hope that we're going to see that form that we saw from Na'Vi over the course now of OT and of their T side in regulation as well, translate onto their CT side. Wonderful. He was pretty stagnant with the offense. He was playing in the mud. It felt like he wasn't really allowed to flex his muscles, go for picks. There was like one time we saw him go down long for an early fight. I want to see him get in the face. I want to see him take the fight to VP. That's a big way to send a message early on, though. The spam through connector. Not only are you controlling the map, but you've also inflicted so much damage that Flit is down to just 2 health. He's basically going to have to be used as a bit of a tool to trade on a site take now. He can't afford to do much on his lonesome. Maybe a lurk role he could still be proficient in, but your options are limited as he's just so close to death. Norbert just teasing the idea of a play towards Monster, spamming at the feet of JL. JL will weather the storm and survive, turns tail and tries to get away, and Fame trades it back, picking that one up. So we're into a 4 versus 4. Time again, he's going to run low. 50 seconds on the clock. Bomb on the back of James. He's got the AWP. He was waiting for a peek out towards Monster, but he's given up the chase on that one. Wraps off and starts to join his teammates towards toilets, Vince.
Yeah, trying to congregate together and explode out onto the site. So much time has elapsed, though, since regulation. You wonder if VP have maybe gone off the boil a little bit when it comes to their aggressive sort of entry fragging capabilities. And wonderful. He's just been consistent this entire game. Hasn't really excelled, hasn't had any highlight reel-worthy moments, but he's just been there, plodding along, kill after kill. James continues to struggle. Had the opportunity, needed to kill an Ema to open up this site, but instead, Mia is stuck alone with 10 seconds left, and the CTs have 2 players on long. Ema is forced out into the open. He gets dealt with by James, and they have smoked off Dumpster. But this post-plant is heavily in favor of Na'Vi. The health bars on VP right now are so low. Flitten 2 HP, James 34, Mia 59. And Bit's gone in and taken the first. James, though, is going to stand his ground and deliver an important headshot. And just half of the fuse of this bomb remains. There are kits in both of the players' hands, but no utility to speak of. How they'd love to have an incendiary or a smoke in this position. This is still a winnable round on the side of VP as they tickle the bomb. James takes first point to call with a flashbang, and now Mia should be able to secure this one. Now Mia going straight for the defuse, but there is Mia to save the day. Super close to nail biter, but VP with just mere seconds get it done.
Oh, mate. The difference of 1 or 2 seconds. The difference if he had backed up even a couple steps further towards connector. Wow. Could have been a different round. This game really does keep on giving. 14. Is a double overtime coming our way? Or will this game finally be closed down? That is the big question. VP at the minute taking the last of their tactical timeouts. The extra one that they get inside of OT being used now. So they'll figure out what they want to do, what adjustments they want to make for what could very well be a do-or-die effort for them. This is their map pick. They want to finish it. After such a back-and-forth affair, they know how much this would mean to them. For Na'Vi, how do you play it? The cash is at least there. They can find themselves rebuying once again. But keep in mind, this will be the second AWP purchased for Wonderful. They're going to be low on money. Had to get dropped across to him as well. So it's actually going to really inflict a lot of damage onto that CT economy across the board. Everyone's low on money. So for the last round and a half, if they don't have a win here, they're not going to have much to work with whatsoever. You're going to have dribs and drabs of utility or gaps in terms of the firepower. Map control from VP is being taken round towards playground early. Wonderful pushes down. You like to see it, but he hates that, Vince. Bullet between the eyes as Fame ruins him. Opening pick grabbed by VP. Imma panicking. JL pants around his ankles, down for good in connector. Where are VP taking this one? It looks like all the way to the bank, Vince, as they are battling with real confidence into this round.
Did Wonderful just get jumping one tap by Fame? It looked like it was Fame that jumped in the air on the slide. Maybe his feet hit the ground before he took the shot, but my first impression there is he just got jumping one tapped, which is outrageous if that's what's the difference maker in this entire OT. Because effectively, all the points you just raised are very, very much on point. If Na'Vi lose this without saving weapons, they are straight up screwed for the next round in terms of their buy. this is a fulcrum point round, and it is heavily tipped in the balance towards VP. This would be a complete theft of a win if they pick this one off, considering how horrendously that second half went. It felt like Na'Vi were in cruise control with nothing that could possibly stagnate them. No obstacle that would be too great for them to deal with. But as it stands, they may be thinking about a save. For the reasons we highlighted, and Alexi's given his position away and also a third of his health on top of that. If they do save these two guns, JL can buy. I think Ema will be able to buy as well, but they will be lacking the AWP at bare minimum. But it will afford them the luxury of another purchase to try and take us into OT2. And VP, they know exactly the situation. So they're going straight for the jugular. No prisoners today. The Shadow betrays Alexi, and he will fall prey to the AK of Flit alongside Bit. And VP now, out of nowhere, have their own match point to play with.
Despicable scenes on our screens into the previous round, and VP now find themselves the closest they've been to closing this one in a good while. Na'Vi, like we touched on, like we really hammered home the importance of how much they needed that round, how much they had to give themselves a fighting chance going into the last. Well, it didn't work out. It left them broken, economy in the bin. Good for them though. The opening damage done will at least remove 40 HP off of Norbert, so a little bit of health exchanged. Taken out of the equation between him and Alexi B. Alexi B definitely better off, but look at the map control. You're seeing VP being able to flex their legs and walk the whole way out through toilets. They're just going for a dry contact play up onto the A bomb site. Wonderful's nade, perfect timing on it, but it doesn't connect Vince. No audio cue. He won't realize that they're right here. Oh, he still lands the shot though, and the Deagle rings supreme, smashes the face of Fame, and sends them packing. VP are down to 3 players. Doesn't matter that there wasn't a buy for Na'Vi. They're making the job work with the broken weaponry.
They are, and now the pressure's back on VP's shoulders. We know that they typically struggle when they're behind in terms of manpower on these aggressive plays. It has been a consistent problem for them over the duration of this entire map, but Jame will get Ema, who maybe gets a bit overzealous trying to look for that long control. HE up and over, but they are allowing themselves to stack this many plays because they have JL with an MP9 in connector. This affords them the luxury of stacking the site. They have so much information, and at any point, JL can just rip right around and whip up a storm from the back. That MP9 is going to be spraying bullets in a few moments' time. If Wonderful even allows it to take shape. He says, nah, I'm actually good, homie. I've got the Deagle. 3 kills to Wonderful, moves up to 24 frags, and now Jame, stuck along, has been spotted, has been fragged, and we go double OT.
The never-ending game. The story that keeps going between these two. It's been such a one-sided affair when teams were on their CT sides in regulation. It was all about the T side, setting the pace of the game. Since then, we've seen back and forth hero plays. Oh, Wonderful. You might have thought he was tilted. You might have thought he was frustrated by what happened to him at Long. But no, he doesn't give a damn. He wants to live up to his name. And the absolute hot prospect of Na'Vi, the future AWPer that they've invested into. Wonderful, proving that his career still has so much more to give. Battles back 2 for now into the round and forces us into the second OT. Imma, fueled with confidence as well, takes the peek out and shuts down Fame. Tells him that he won't be famous into this round because he's already dead. VP, with just 4 players left now, and they are eating bullets, Vince. It's not very nutritious as everyone is losing HP. Flit down to 52, body blocked as well. Or if there would have been a peek up on a boost, you would have been tilted out of your mind.
Certainly not nutritious, and certainly not delicious if you're on the receiving end of that battering that they were. Fame hoping he can maybe be one of those posthumously famous people that escalates them to the very top of their field. But in the terms of sitting on the subs bench for the time being and watching as VP desperately try and clamber on for any advantage. That were jump peaks though, so Mia needs to tread lightly. Nades could find their way over there. There's 2 HEs in play. Bits up close on the smoke. The strap book goes out of the window at this point. Play is have had so much saving, so many rounds to play with. This is where instinct has to take to the forefront. This is where those thousands and thousands and thousands of hours on the deathmatch servers, putting in the effort, honing your craft, being the best player you can possibly be, comes to the forefront. And you see which players want it more. Flit and Jame have dispatched of Monster, but they haven't dealt with Alexi, who's had a really good game so far, but he sprays down the middle. He was the ace in the hole. He was the player that could have turned the tides of this round, and instead it's a 2-on-4 post plant. And although Flit and Jame are low, Ema has his work cut out for him. Jame suddenly springs into action and suddenly found his range with the AWP. He was so quiet for so long in this game, but now he's here to stay. 3K in the round. And his opposite number of Wonderful can do little but just back away with the AWP and save. So VP take the advantage again. This game continues to go back and forth like a seesaw. And who's the first to break? Who's the first to fall? It's going to be Na'Vi in our second OT.
It's crazy how both of the star AWPers, the two players, Vince, that historically throughout the ages of CS win or lose you games. They have the most expensive weapon. They have the most important role. They're the players that, off the difference of a single click of their mouse, can win you an entire match, have both stepped up into a double overtime, into the first couple rounds to show how important the game is. For Na'Vi, it was wonderful to even get us here. For Jame, it's him winning the first on the T side for VP. And this is really bringing a whole new air of confidence to the game. Anything we saw in regulation has gone out the window now. This is going to be different quality of CS playing between the both of these teams. Jame, set ablaze. He's already been playing hot, but this time it's a bit more literally. Ooh, a bit of a DC. Things have jumped. Oh no. We've travelled time again, Vince.
Bro.
It's done the bug from yesterday. No.
Leap is back. It's back.
Oh, mate. What's happened?
Just to let you guys know, if you were not aware of the issue we had yesterday, unfortunately the playcast we're given sometimes does this and it'll just go back like a long time. So our excellent observer is fast forwarding at 8 times speed, as you can see on your screens right now, to try and catch up.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, this is a rough one. Just so you are aware, like Vince said, this is it's a weird issue on kind of the CSTV/playcast side. So sometimes, mostly yesterday, it will just randomly reset you to halfway through the game. So we're going to fix that. The only way to do that is this. We have to manually scrub our way through the game. So we just got to breeze through these rounds as quick as possible and then hope we make it back. So here we go. We're into the first OT. You get a nice little refresher on what happened. Then we'll get into the second OT and then we can carry on. Man, okay, this is really unlucky. This has happened at this point as well, Vince. Because at least in that game we had yesterday, it was like OG getting like mullered by C9 or whatever.
Oh no!
No! What's happening?
Leaps within leaps. Multiverse theory proved correct. You heard it here first.
God damn! Why have we been rinsed?
Mate, oh god, is he gonna do it again?
I'm having a look to see what's going on, seeing what Scorebot says about it. Scorebot says that the game's still live and it's 16-16. So,
apologies, guys. There's nothing we can do about this, unfortunately. This is a problem with the actual relay that we've been given. So, trust me, we're as frustrated as you are because we've been loving this, Jacky. It's been a great game.
It's been a banger
game, but we can't get away from this 11-10 score. It is Groundhog Day. It is.
What is happening?
We are inside it right now. We are both Bill Murray at the same time from different universes.
Oh, mate. What a tragic affair for it to all lead up to this and then absolutely ruin us with a reset. I was just seeing if there's anything that's been said, any sort of communication on the old server side, but
I've been told the classic disconnect and then reconnect, but I don't know, mate, if that's the problem.
We can give it a try. We'll cut back the cameras. We'll see if we can figure it out. We've got our top men working on it. Top men. Bastion, he knows his way around a playcast, so we'll see if he can get it fixed. Absolute nightmare, though. Absolute nightmare. Obviously, when this happened last time, really the only solution was to to fast forward our way through it all. Yeah, it just puts him straight back in at 11-10.
10, yeah.
Bloody hell. What a nightmare, Vince. A cracking game as well. Everything we could have wanted between these two, and it's all gone. It's been robbed away from us. It feels like Christmas, you know, when you think you're going to unbox a gaming PC, but you've opened it and it's just a Terry's chocolate orange. It's a nightmare.
And not even one of the good ones. It's like lemon flavored.
Exactly. Who wants that? Who's going to be eating the lemon chocolate orange? Ridiculous, but I can't believe it. I really don't know what the answer is to fix this as well now, because I guess we just have to hope that we can scrub our way through it before the game ends. Can have a look at the scorebot. Okay. Scorebot says that the game's 17-16 at the minute. Na'Vi leading the game. Looks like one of the rounds has just finished.
Yeah, I'm just having a quick look if other people are also having the same problem here.
Yeah. Been betrayed.
Guales doesn't have the problem. I guess we're just getting wrecked. Feels good, man. Well, apparently Flom is also having the same issue, so I'm glad it's not just us.
Okay, yeah. At least we're all going down on a sinking ship, you know. What a nightmare as well. We've been properly teased, you know. Yeah, it's broken. It's absolutely broken. What a nightmare. Let's have a look in the old... Yeah, if we can pull up
the
scoreboard,
game's finished apparently, guys. Apparently it's 19-16, which would mean Na'Vi won. I don't know if that's legit, though. I don't know if that's legit, but that's what I've heard.
I see. Damn. Oh, what a betrayal towards the end. Can't believe we've been done like this. I'm having a look if... Yeah, no, it seems like for some people this hasn't happened, but for other people it has. I wonder if it's... I don't know, maybe some sort of manner where like there's two different relays for playcast, and if you're unlucky with which one you got put on, you get the old 11-12 forever. The classic.
Oh man, it was such a good game. Like it's honestly, it's gutting to be in this position, isn't it? Really
heartbreaking. Really, that was a banger. Yeah, that was a banger, mate. I can't believe we've been done like this. Such a shame as well, because it was really important comebacks from either side, where like you're winning clutch rounds, you're winning such momentum building rounds to get back into it. I've seen at least we have been able to somewhat make some headway on getting back through the rounds. Maybe there's a chance we catch just the tail end of things at this point. But yeah, that's rough. That's a nightmare. God damn, playcast really letting everyone down. What a shame.
Yeah, I'm gonna bite my tongue on this one, Jacky. I'm a bit tilted. I'm not gonna lie. Man.
Yeah,
the qualifiers, like it's rough. It's rough times.
It is. Although here's a good bit of news, Vince. Seems like there's been a massive SteamDB package that's been pushed today, with a whole load of crazy stuff that people have spotted that's been pushed in terms of the depots for CS2. One of them's even tagged as DLC, so it looks like maybe we're getting a major update tonight.
Hey, I'm down, man. I'm totally down. Let's go.
So at least there's that. At least there's that to look forward to. We might be getting something big. It would be hilarious as well, because obviously January 21st on Overpass, the map that we were playing, even has a calendar that says registration day is January 21st. So maybe there actually is an operation coming. Maybe that's what we're getting. Who knows? We could all run around doing MP7 kills in deathmatch and loving it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were kind of disappointed that an operation didn't come out with CS2, but I think expectations were far too high.
Yeah.
Now makes a lot more sense. The game's been out for a hot minute, and build that hype up before the RMR, build the hype up before the major makes a lot of sense. The timing. It could end up not being that, and
yeah, and then we just get one patch all over again. But hey, you know, anything's nice. I'm kind of that like optimistic kid with CS updates these days. I'm just happy to get anything, mate. I think that's the difference. You know, I remember back when you get the box, you get the game that was on the box. Maybe an expansion you'd have to pay like another 30 quid for a couple years down the line. But otherwise, that was it. I think, you know, it's pretty nice that we even get stuff for video games at all.
No, I agree with you. I'm completely alongside with you. I think I was a bit disappointed with the way that a lot of the community kind of responded to some of the issues with CS2. I do think it was pushed out a bit early. I do feel like a bit more of a beta would have made sense, but That being said, people acting like it's doomsday for CS, I think is ridiculous. Valve have put a lot of time and effort in. They've released more patches, I think, in already the last few months than they did
Yeah,
for sometimes a year or two in
probably
CS:GO.
ever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I mean, you got to take the positives where they are. Obviously, we're filling time now, guys, because you don't know what the hell's going on with this game. We're
No.
trying to find out what happens with it because I feel like we've already invested so much time. There we go on the scoreboard.
Okay.
It does say Na'Vi. They won 19-16. They got the job done eventually. They got the W.